Welcome, Cece. So excited
Thank
to be here
you.
with you today for the sake of time. And I know you have so much to share. So we're just going to jump right into it.
Love it.
And first things first, introduce us to your brand, OPTE. Tell us what it is, what it does, and how the technology works.
Yes. So OPTE, we are a precision skincare system, and what that means is that we are actually hybrid makeup and skincare device. So we specifically target the skin concern of hyperpigmentation, dark spots, age spots, sunspots, especially after a season of summer sun, when you see those kind of dark spots appear on your skin. Our product was designed to help correct immediately, so getting coverage immediately on the spots, but then also fading them over time and preventing actually new spots from forming. So we like to say that we are a lot of good, too much good.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned in my research on the technology, you all talk about science-backed skincare and precision skincare. And I thought that was really interesting. So can you define that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So OPTE is a product of over 10 years of research and development by a large team of scientists who are just obsessed with skincare and beauty. Our founder, Thomas, actually, he has a background in foundations and makeup previously. And it was a big insight from him that, a lot of customers were seeing deterioration in their skin health because they're constantly covering it up with foundation. Whereas actually what you're probably covering up on your face is in actuality a very small percentage of your skin. So that was kind of the insight that brought forward the research into developing a product that's precisely deposits product exactly where you need it. So I have on my face on this side here, like whenever I'm in the sun a lot, it always appears. It's like that dark spot that always appears. And I use OPTE. I've integrated OPTE into my routine, and I obviously am obsessed with it. But what I love most about it is it, rather than spot correcting with a concealer or something else, it's the technology deposits what we call the optimizing serum exactly on that spot to give you immediate coverage. And then the serum also contains a 5% niacinamide formulation, which isn't as much as some of the brightening serums that you see on the market, but because we're so precise in that application, it's actually super effective because you're not, covering the rest of your face that doesn't need it with the serum itself. So we're all about that precision to kind of not only target your skin concern, your dark spots, but also really to let the rest of your skin kind of be free to breathe, to reap all the benefits of not having, really like coverage on top of it.
Right. And I'm glad that you mentioned the foundation tidbit because as a beauty editor, I see so many, jar-based products that claim to do so much. So when I discovered this new technology, I was really interested in, basically why you wanted to put a tool of this caliber in the consumer's hand.
Yeah, I think for many reasons, but I think, kind of observing everything that's happened throughout the course of COVID, I know I've certainly amassed a number of not just like jarred products, but also tools such as OPTE and other devices, because that sort of self-care routine has just become such a bigger part of my day-to-day, taking that moment to like sit back and do something for yourself. And I think with OPTE, and I can certainly elaborate a bit more on the technology piece of it, but I think with OPTE, what's really powerful about it is besides the immediate effect, which we like to call that elusive no makeup look,
Yeah.
because you are only covering, so little of your skin that your skin with its like natural dimensionalized qualities, you're just able to glow, right? Like if you usually use foundation, it mattifies your face. You have to build that glow with blush and contouring highlights and bronzer and all those things. And OPTE just lets your natural skin kind of shine. So that's like the immediate part of it. But what's really powerful about OPTE is that within about 4 to 6 weeks, you'll really see those dark spots fade. And in addition, because of the technology of the actual wand itself, there's a blue light that detects hyperpigmentation that your naked eye cannot see. And our device it's depositing that serum directly onto that spot that you cannot see. So it's actually preventing dark spots from coming out in the future. So there's so many aspects to it that, once you've integrated into your daily routine, that from just an ongoing long-term perspective, you're really improving both the tone of your skin and the health of your skin.
And I love that. And I'm just so intrigued by the technology itself, because it's so beyond, just looking at the back of a jar and,
Yeah,
it's saying like,
have it
apply this
here.
mask for 10 minutes or so. So I'm really
Yeah.
interested to know, how did you incorporate education into your e-commerce business strategy?
Yeah, so when we first launched OPTE, one of the things we made sure to do was to develop a very robust customer service offering. So we have a very strong customer experience team. Even now, if you had a question about, is OPTE for me, can it address and really alleviate some of the skin concerns that I have? Any of those questions, you can go onto our site, opte.com, and chat and even schedule a video consultation with one of our representatives, just because it is such a complex product. And we want to make sure that anybody, even kind of thinking about incorporating it into their routine, can find it an easy lift to do so. And then, once you do become one of our optimists, we like to call them our optimists. Once you do become an optimist, we follow up with a lot of points of contact to continually give you that opportunity to either chat with us, get in touch with one of our customer service representatives. Within the within your account on the site itself, we have a number of video tutorials, tips and tricks, and we are continuing to add to that library. So we've recently also done a big sort of consumer research panel to find out whether or not, the way that we're educating consumers is really effective. So, previously we had a certain way of saying, this is how you should OPTE. We put it in front of consumers. We got their feedback, and we have developed a few new steps, or kind of revised steps, updated steps, that have scored a lot better, a lot higher. The panel that we put it in front of, they got it much faster. They can do the routine much quicker. And we're in the process of rolling that out across all of our platforms as well. So I think it's a constant cycle of test and learn, and adapting and incorporating, and keeping that feedback loop really, really open. We always send out a after purchase survey to check in on our customers to see how the product is performing for them. We look at that survey a lot to see what people are saying. We encourage people, our customers, to send in their before and afters. Any feedback is great feedback for us. So we definitely make it a priority to keep that feedback loop open.
I love that you mentioned that, because my next question is, when you are explaining OPTE to someone and how the technology works, what do you think is the hardest concept for people to understand? And then on the other end, what is the most important concept for them to understand?
I think the most difficult so far, and I've had a lot of fun explaining it to, friends and family when I first started with the brand, is it skincare or is it makeup?
Mm, yeah.
And so I've gotten into the habit of just saying, it's both. It's a hybrid device. We're in a category kind of by ourselves, I think, in that realm of being a both a makeup, um, having both a makeup offering, having long-term skincare benefits, and also being in the a device, a high tech device form.
I love that. And speaking of the device itself, that's something that really intrigued me about, my research on the technology, because Opte is essentially like a first and one of a kind handheld inkjet printer for beauty, right?
Hmm.
And aside from prioritizing educating your consumer on this device and how to use it and safety protocols, I was really intrigued on knowing, for you and your team, how important was the appearance and the weight of device, when implementing your marketing and business strategies.
Yeah, I think that the packaging, the whole experience, has always been top of mind because we're a high price point product. We're very high tech. And so I think a lot of thought was put into the overall unboxing experience, but then also your day-to-day interactions with the device. So when you get the package, it comes in this kind of really, really nice, beautiful white box. I've gotten some, comments about how it kind of feels like it would be as if Apple designed a skincare device, which of course you love to hear.
Yeah.
And then the actual device itself, I actually just woke mine up here so I could show you on screen. The
Yes.
actual device, the actual device itself comes in a cradle, that looks like this, that has this really beautiful matte gold finish. It's got this white packaging that feels very, very luxurious and high tech. And the actual wand itself has this LED screen that really communicates to you when it's ready to be used, when it's cleaning, and also how much serum is left in the body of of the wand. So it's the entire feel of it is very luxurious. The other thing that we've done, which I'm super excited about, is a few weeks ago we launched our app. So now in the App Store, you can find an OPTE app. And this addition to kind of the whole product offering is a way to have those kinds of tips and tricks and tutorials and connection to our customer service team right within the app.
Yeah.
It's really great because the more that you use OPTE, the more of the benefits you'll see. So it's like taking vitamins in your morning, right? So in the app, you can set reminders for yourself to don't forget to OPTE in the morning. We have kicked off a loyalty program within the app. So, the more that you use it, we like to say 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week for that wonderful transformation. The more that you use it, the more sort of surprises you get in terms of, refills or gifts or other kind of offers. So
Yeah.
that's something that we're continually looking to kind of improve along the way. Again, kind of taking the feedback from our customers and improving the product.
And that is the literal perfect segue, excuse me, into an audience question, which is, how do you know what consumer suggestions and or feedback to filter or move forward with?
That is a great question. I think we've had could say that it's the benefit of having, I think, a lot of similar feedback or questions. So a lot of it specifically around the usage of OPTE, for example, has to do with are you like are you moving it too quickly or slowly, or I'm not getting that sort of product distributed from the machine. So I think when it comes to specific functionality of OPTE, we take that feedback and we say, how can we make our communications better? Because there's obviously something that we're not communicating to the consumer. That's giving her this pain point of really successfully using our product. So I think for us, it's like, we hear some of the same things over and over again. And from there, we can directly affect how we would react to those specific concerns.
And I like that because that's like segueing. I think I love that word today.
I'm all about the segues.
Another question that I have, because when I was looking at the tool and I was doing the research and I was watching, the how-to videos, I automatically thought about how a lot of people are used to using, whatever product, whatever 10-step lineup you have, right? That's like in a jar or a tube. And then I automatically thought about people who are oftentimes maybe intimidated by products that look like OPTE. And then I thought about, well, then how do you take this amazing technology that can be so beneficial to someone and make it less intimidating and incorporate that into your strategy?
Yeah, I think this is the one thing that I'm really keen to try to do and experiment. Again, it's like test, and experiment and learn. We literally just actually today is our 1-year anniversary. It's our 1-year birthday. We launched 1 year ago. Thank you. We launched 1 year ago today, which is super exciting. But what that also meant was that we launched right in the middle of COVID, right? So I think in some ways, a product like this, and I've experienced it somewhat in, kind of very limited live events or live streams that I've done so far, is that when you're able to get OPTE in front of an audience and you're live there with them, it's so much easier to digest and to kind of understand that it's actually, a very straightforward device. I think with any, like, whenever you get an iPhone or some other sort of device, there's always like that setup, right? Like you have to set it up, you have to like update the latest firmware or whatever that is. So in a similar way, it's the same with OPTE, but once you are in that routine, and so again, that's like something that we are so focused on and that we have to crack, because as soon as we're able to get her to that point where it's incorporated as part of her routine, it's a really simple part, of your morning sort of skincare process. So yeah, I think that's something that I'm really keen to do. I think with our, building our customer experience team in the very beginning, that was kind of our, the insight that we had, that we would need to have, resources to be able to be that sort of soft touch with potential clients. I think there's a lot we can do from a content perspective, but again, it's not something where you can probably produce a 2-minute video and expect somebody to sit in front of a long video and watch all the way through, no matter how, engaging it might be. So we're playing with a number of like kind of shorter clips, animated GIFs, smaller delivery formats, exposing the content in a few different ways, whether it's the app or whether it's the website, where just making it really easy for her to jump in and out of the content if she chooses to. But I'm most excited about, kind of more in person or live interactions with the audience. I think that's really where, we can kind of be like, we can show the product and we can talk about it in a way that makes it seem less intimidating.
Yeah, and you pretty much almost answered my next question, because when, we are in quote unquote COVID times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really do trade shows or, live sessions introducing the technology to consumers. So I was wondering, how did you pivot during the pandemic when it comes to launching a product, especially such a hands-on product that's kind of like new in a sense to
Yeah.
beauty?
Yeah, I think, we had a lot of things going for us. I think even though it was COVID, I think the history of the development of the product. So we were at CES right before COVID. So we actually had developed kind of a waiting list from that period. Our inventor Thomas was there. He was actually doing live demos. So we were very fortunate in that we had that tiny bit of time before, everything shut, to at least show it partially to the world.
Yeah.
And then we had to pivot. But again, I think because of the story of the founder story of the product, because of how technologically advanced it was, and we could talk a lot about, what went into the development of OPTE. I think that we, in terms of a launch, we were able to get a lot of press. So PR really, really supported us through kind of the first holiday, our first holiday in the beginning of the year. And now we are, and I think, press PR continues to really help us in kind of bringing that sort of story forward. And now as we're able to start doing more desk sides, I'm starting to speak to, directly to more editors to give sort of that one-on-one impression of the product. I think that's going to be super helpful, because otherwise, the dimension of the device doesn't come through totally or much at all on a piece of paper. Yeah, so we had a few things really going for us in the beginning, and I think just really kind of the novelty of the product, really kind of focus of videos on the how-tos, how to use it, the benefits, experimenting with user-generated content before and afters are really, successful for us. Yeah.
I think we can sort of wrap the session talking about OPTE holistically. Like, who is the OPTE consumer? Is it a genderless product / technology? And I think for most people, what is important is, does the device work for a full range of like skin types and skin tones?
Yeah, totally. It's for sure a genderless product. I think what you'll find is that OPTE deposits such a tiny amount of product on your face that I know, we talked about the morning routine, and I do use it for morning routines, but we have people on our team who even use it at nighttime. Because it's, the precise sort of targeting of hyperpigmentation. And if you try taking it off with like a tissue or something, there is literally so little product on your face.
Yeah.
So both for our male audience, it's definitely a consideration, right? Because you definitely don't get like that sort of cakey makeup feel at all. It's really just evening out the tone of your skin, and revealing kind of the glow of your own skin. So for sure, it is a genderless, very inclusive device. And we're very proud of that fact. I think in terms of the skin tones that it works best on, it's for sure. I probably didn't really get concerned about hyperpigmentation until like my mid 30s, right? I'm in my late 30s now. So I think it's within that age range where at least for me, and I think for a lot of people. It's within the age range where you're kind of like, oh, I'm really seeing hyperpigmentation, right? I'm really seeing it kind of become like making my skin tone uneven and starting to look for solutions. I think only in the last couple of years, I started exploring into brightening serums and things like that. So I think from an audience perspective, I would say probably 40s to 50s is really our sweet spot, because that's when you really want to invest in your hyperpigmentation concerns. And the final thing I'll say about that is that we're about, so we have 3 different tones, and we have 3 tones that, because you don't need to necessarily color match, kind of the theory is that it camouflages, so you don't need to match exactly. That being said, the blue light technology is limited in terms of the contrast it's able to detect. So when it comes to super, super deep skin tones, it struggles in that regard. So that's something we're also finding out feedback, but also addressing in the product itself. But I would say for 98% of skin tones, we can definitely offer, you know, solution and coverage and benefits.
Yeah, of course. And I think we have like a minute or 2 left.
Yeah.
If you could just say, you know, what hopes do you have for OPTE and what's next?
Oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. Yeah, no, but I mean, we're headed into a very busy holiday season. We know OPTE is gifting is really, really important for us. So we're doing a lot of work around sort of the Black Fridays and Cyber Mondays and ramping up for holiday. And I think really looking into the future, I would really love to get OPTE more in front of a live audience. So thinking about pop-ups, thinking about partnering with retail partners, thinking about partnering with brand partners as part of, like, you know, an overall wellness sort of approach to long-term skin health. I think all of those are on the docket, and definitely continuing to like test and take into account that consumer feedback loop, because it's so important when you're really trying to figure out the education piece and how to communicate it.
I think out of my own curiosity, can you travel with OPTE?
You can. I've tried it.
Yeah.
It. I haven't gotten stopped. I've traveled with it on two trips, so 4 segments of plane rides, and I haven't gotten stopped with it yet or questions. So yeah, so yes, you can travel with it.
And it is a technology that you keep plugged into the wall, or are you recharging it, like the device itself?
You keep it plugged into the wall. In the very beginning, you do have to let it charge up for like a couple hours, but because it needs that power source to kind of constantly be connected via the app and usage and things like that. So yes, yeah, it needs its power source.
Yeah, can you tell everyone where that they can find the technology, where they can find you on social media?
Absolutely. OPTE.com, OPTE.com is definitely where you can buy the product. You can learn a lot more. You can learn more about the refill. So the serum that comes into it is refillable. So we offer a refill kit. We also, I didn't even get to mention, but we have a really wonderful moisturizer that I'm addicted to. And we also offering a brightening concentrate. So if you don't want to use OPTE at night, then you can use this particular concentrate. So definitely visit us online. You can also chat, with our CX team if you have any questions. And we're on Instagram at OPTE Skin. And if you're in New York, we're at the Allure store in Soho. So you can actually play with it. You can actually play with it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to go visit.
Yeah, you will. You will. Absolutely.